Hello, doctor. Welcome to the health site.
Hi, thanks for having me. Go
Thank
ahead.
you so much for taking out time for us. All right, doctor. So today, as we know, we'll be talking about Alzheimer's disease, and it's a particular day dedicated to Alzheimer's disease. Can you just give us a little gist or a little outlook about what is the Alzheimer's disease?
Sure. So, Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurological disease wherein the cells of the brain shrink and it destroys the memory and the ability to think and also the ability to carry out daily tasks. So, this is, uh, like I said, it's a progressive neurological degenerative disease, if you have to say so.
Okay, doctor. Doctor, if we talk about the causes of this disease, uh,
Hmm.
why why this happens mainly? What are the symptoms and the causes of Alzheimer's disease?
If you have to talk about the symptoms, then we usually divide the symptoms into under different heads. One of them is the cognitive or the intellectual symptoms. Then we have the behavioral symptoms and the psychological symptoms. So the intellectual or the cognitive symptoms would be, like I said, the decline in memory, thinking and understanding. Then there would be one thing which we call as a sundowning phenomenon, or the confusion which occurs typically in these people during the evening. They suddenly forget where they are, they don't know where the rooms are. So that sort of symptoms start coming out, especially after the sunset, and that is why it is called as sundowning. Then there could be disorientation, like I said, and inability to do simple calculations. So people who have been doing math throughout their life, they're unable to do simple calculations. So these are the these are the usual cognitive or the intellectual symptoms that come in Alzheimer's disease. Then we have
Okay.
certain behavioral symptoms like aggression. They become very aggressive. They refuse to to listen to the other family members. They start getting very agitated and irritated, and there's a lot of personality changes. So people who have been more calm and composed throughout their life, they start becoming very agitated and arrogant, and they're very restless, and they keep on doing certain repetitive things. So these are the behavioral symptoms that can occur. And then there are certain psychological symptoms like anger, apathy. They feel very lonely. They feel some of them feel suicidal. They go into depression, and they also have hallucinations or the feeling that something is there which is really not there. So these are the in a gist the usual symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, and they occur in different symptoms present in all stages of the disease. In the mild or the early stages, we find few symptoms. Then in the moderate, you find more symptoms, and in the end stage, you might find most of these symptoms.
All right, doctor. Talking about the risk factors of the disease, what are the risk
Hmm.
factors involved in Alzheimer's?
So there are certain risk factors which are found to be associated with Alzheimer's. So these are the age. Usually, as people age beyond 60 years, it's more common. Then a history of head injury. And if people who have Alzheimer's disease at an early onset, they could have family history also. And then there are certain other risk factors which have been found to be having some sort of an association, like cardiovascular disease, that is heart diseases, obesity or excessive weight, diabetes or abnormal sugar in the body, hypertension or high blood pressure, and high lipids or high cholesterol. Then certain habits like smoking and alcohol can also be considered as risk factors for Alzheimer's disease.
All right, doctor. What best treatment can be given in Alzheimer's disease?
So the treatment of Alzheimer's disease is mainly with using medicines which are cognition enhancers, and we use these medicines in patients who are suspected to have Alzheimer's disease. And there are other lifestyle changes which can be incorporated, like keeping the brain active by doing certain activities which can stimulate the brain. So, like doing puzzles or Sudoku, etc. And these are the things which are important. And it is very important that the any patient with Alzheimer's disease should not keep changing their place of residence, because it confuses them a lot. And there are a lot of changes which need to be made at home, like keeping the lights on at night, and reassuring these people. Even if they keep on asking the same question many times, people and the family, the caretakers will need to be very patient and answer these questions repeatedly as and when it's required. There's a lot of caretaker burden, burnout because of repeated questioning and other things. But it's an unfortunate, but it is something that people have to be aware, and they will have to assist their near and dear ones go through this process.
Okay, doctor, talking about the early detection of the Alzheimer's disease. So, how can it be detected that a person is on a verge of getting Alzheimer's?
Yeah. See, there are certain tests like what is called as a positron emission tomography PET scan, which has got certain patterns for Alzheimer's disease. Or the commoner test that we do is the MRI brain, the MRI scan, which shows that certain areas of the brain shrink more in respect to other areas in patients with Alzheimer's disease, and that gives us a clue. And there is some tests which are done in the fluid which is taken out from the lumbar canal, that is this cerebrospinal fluid. So there are some tests done from that also, and these tests put together can help us to make an early diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. But in general, the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease remains more or less clinical, because the only way we can say definitely that it is Alzheimer's disease is only by histopathology or by taking a piece of the brain, which would not be advised for a simple diagnosis.
Okay, doctor, I think that was very helpful. Thank you for sorting out all our queries, and thank you so much for joining us on the health side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.